Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. We are group 2 from JBA 2523A. So today we're going to present to you our group assignment for Introduction to Takaful INS510. So the topic that we have chosen today is transportation industry, especially the company JNT Express. So this is our group members. We have Mohamad Amirul Aiman bin Zaini, Tuan Ahmad Ameer bin Tuan Rahim, Nur Faqihah binti Azman, Dayang, Myra, Rabia binti Mohamad, and Nur Izzatul Farahin binti Iskandar. Shown on the screen is the content of our presentation today.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Izzatul Farahin binti Iskandar, and now let me explain to you a little bit about the industry background. So we always aspired to travel around the globe and settle in new places, whether on land or at water. From basic canoes to space travel, the development of the transportation has taken us far, and it is impossible to predict where we will go next or how we will get there. As time goes by, we can see that the development of the transportation industry has grown widely and become a mode or an alternative for us to not just move ourselves from point A to point B, but also to complete operation of businesses or governments successfully, which at the same time it has become one of the contributors to the economic development of a country. Transportation industry is the type of industry that provides services in terms of moving people or goods from one place to another and accelerates trade between various parties, as well as the infrastructure of transportation. The industry is connected to all other economic activities because it reduces the distance between centers of production and consumption, meets the needs of citizens for mobility, and promotes good accessibility within a given region. This industry is important in influencing the direction and rate of economic growth from a macroeconomic standpoint, and it is the same important for large emerging nations where a lack of mobility can be a significant barrier to prosperity. For your information, in Malaysia, our transportation sector can be broken down into three subsectors, which are land, aviation, and maritime. Also, there are a few strategic plans that has been unveiled by our government regarding transportation sector, which the first one is the strategic plan of the Ministry of Transport year 2008 until 2015. The aim of this strategic plan is to outline the ministry's goal for advancing the services this industry provides in response to the highly competitive global market. Another one is a plan under the 10th Malaysia Plan in 2011 until 2015, which relates to transportation. The government has established several significant physical infrastructure initiatives that work in unison with the strategic plan of the ministry. Among those initiatives are the expansions of the rail, aviation, and maritime and multimodal transportation networks.
So next is about the business operation of JNT Express. Business operations are the daily actions that businesses participate in to grow the value of their organization and earn a profit. The activities can be optimized to create enough money to pay expenses and earn a profit for the business owners. Business operation evolve as the company grows, and the management should plan to adapt the changes to avoid system malfunctions. Transportation industry also one of the crucial elements in distribution services because transportation is the main core in distributing goods and packages to the end customer in a given period of time by considering and applying the most efficient method of transportation, such as picking the best delivery route and cost-effective packaging in order to ensure that the safety of goods and packages. However, the transportation industry also encounters an abundance of problems and issues which expose the industry to risks such as the safety of the driver, safety of goods and the packages, and others. Thus, having an excellent risk analysis management will be beneficial to the transportation industry to mitigate the risk and to have a better solution to overcome the risk, which greatly could help the survival of the transportation industry.
Hello, it's Dayang Myra, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about JNT's background. So, JNT Express or PT Global Jet Express is a global logistics service provider with a leading express delivery businesses in Southeast Asia and China. It is founded in 2015 by Jet Li and Tony Chen. The business network spans 13 countries, including Indonesia, Malaysia, and also Vietnam. So, the business goal is to become a healthy and sustainable corporation. This has become their main goals and the principles of the business. Knowledge sharing, responsibility, service quality, and result-oriented are one of the many core values of the business, and it helps the company grow as an organization with the thoughts of giving the best services to their customers.
So, fundamental risk could be considered as a risk that affects an entire society or large population within a society or organization. The likelihood of fundamental risk listed in the JNT Express is rare, and the impact of it could be considered as catastrophic. First fundamental risk that had been identified in transportation industry is pandemic of COVID-19, which influenced the skyrocketing of virus outbreak, which had caused serious health problems. Despite transportation industry was one of the vital cores of business during the pandemic, they were still heavily affected by it, where the employees in the transportation industry were also exposed to the outbreak of COVID-19 when executing the delivery services without proper procedure. Next is condition of weather in Malaysia, which has triggered suspended service because of the inconsistent weather in Malaysia, which can lead to several serious health problems such as heat stroke. Furthermore, the third fundamental risk is the natural disasters such as earthquake, flood, and others involving the facilities of the company also has increased the risk of damages to the customers' packages. Lastly, the inflation, which had triggered the spike of shipping rates, which are inevitable in a country. First and foremost, the action can be used by JNT Express to minimize the fundamental risks is by enacting a policy or code of conduct when working during the pandemic. The policy or code of conduct must adhere to the standard operating procedure (SOP) that was implemented by the Ministry of Health. For an instance, emphasize the compulsory wearing of a mask and hand sanitizer for every worker in JNT Express. They also need to ensure that every employee in the company undergoes COVID-19 tests daily and also constantly sanitize their facilities as a step of prevention to overcome the outbreak of the COVID-19. Next is providing emergency training to the employee of JNT Express when encountering with scenery of natural disaster. Thus, by organizing emergency training, the employees will be well prepared to deal with the panic situation and able to survive during an emergency due to the valuable basic knowledge that they have learned during the emergency training. The installation of alarm also crucial as an initial step to encounter any unforeseen events. Next is implement a proper work attire among their employees, such as an attire with loose clothing and light color that were made by breathable fabric in order to lessen the risk of getting heat stroke among the JNT Express employee. The JNT Express also can organize a campaign regarding the importance to stay hydrated among their employee, such as cultivating their employee to bring a bottle of plain water to the workplace to prevent dehydration occurring among them. The installation of a water cooler at the workplace also could be a great initiative to overcome this problem. Next is, there is no specific Takaful product that cover the loss that were triggered by fundamental risk, but one of the recommended Takaful product is Zurich Essential Fire Takaful, where we can have an additional subscription coverage such as earthquake, flood, and others.
Next, we will move on to the speculative risk. Speculative risk is a type of risk where it is taken willingly and will always result in either profit, loss, or nothing. And almost any financial investment activities are considered as speculative risk since it is taken consciously and will result in profit or loss. Since JNT has become Malaysia's top choice for logistic courier service, the company is making investments to increase their growth in Malaysia. According to DH Malaysia, JNT Express has invested 600 million ringgit in an integrated logistics centre in Selangor. The 30-acre centre in Bandar Bayu Selangor is designed to express distribution, transport, logistics and warehousing. This is to increase its growth and achieve its ambition in Malaysia and across the region, as the company is committed to strengthen its position as the leader of logistic courier companies in Southeast Asia. As we can see, JNT Express has invested a huge amount of money in order to increase its capital in Malaysia. This investment is financial, which of course could lead to a huge amount of profit if the investment is successful, but there is also a possibility that it could lead to a huge amount of loss for the company if the investment fails. Other than that, JNT Express also invests their money on marketing manipulation, where the company pays individuals to give a review for the company service in order to promote the brand. For example, JNT Express invites Elina Adeli, the owner of Elina Adeli HQ, to give a review on the company courier service while promoting her products via official YouTube channel. This method is categorized as one of the speculative risks, as the company invests their money on promoting the brand, which could result in profit if the number of customers increases from the review, or could result in loss if the reviewer uses different company service or give a bad review for the JNT Express. Not to be forgotten, JNT Express invests their finances on hiring many employees, amounting to 11,400 employees in 2020, and also provides international shipping service for the customers. These investments have a high possibility to either generate profit or cause huge loss for the company, as hiring many employees means that the company needs to prepare a huge amount of money for the salaries, and the customers also could use other international shipping provided by the rival companies in Malaysia such as FedEx and Skynet. Therefore, we can say that speculative risk in JNT Express is possible to occur, which can cause a major impact to the company. A speculative risk still can result in profit or nothing other than loss. The risk management that can be implemented by JNT service for this type of risk is risk retention. Risk retention occurs when risk is being evaluated and the organization decides to accept the potential risk and no action is taken to decrease the risk, but a contingency plan may still be put in place. One of the contingency plans that can be made by JNT Express is planning a new marketing strategies if the current strategy fails. For example, JNT Express could focus on promoting their services through social media marketing and search engine optimization (SEO). In addition, social media marketing is much cheaper than traditional marketing, as you can expose your brands to thousands of people by just running an advertisement on Instagram that costs you only from 88 cents to 8 ringgit and 81 cents. Other than that, the company can cancel their international shipping service if the results is not promising. This action is taken in order to prevent any unnecessary funding to the international shipping service, so that the fund can be used towards the sector that is more promising and could attract more customers.
It's pure risk. So this type of risk cannot be controlled, and the outcomes are either complete loss or not a loss at all. However, there is no opportunity to gain profit when fire risk is involved. So this situation that involves a fire risk, once you know, it cannot be predicted or controlled, such as natural disasters, floods, and deaths. So additionally, companies such as logistics, they usually face fire risk, and because there are a lot of combustible materials that are exposed to fire, and it can't be predicted at times. So as you can see in my screen, what are the causes and the effects? The first causes are the poor maintenance of machinery that is being used daily. So as you know, a JNT have a lot of machines in their daily work, so those machines can be combustible. Secondly, vehicle caught on fire during parcel delivery. So there is a lot of news circulating around our social media of pictures of vehicles of JNT Express caught on fire. The third one is misconduct and poor SOP supervision safety guidelines. So sometimes we as a human cannot always play by the rules. So at times it can happen. And the fourth one is faulty electrical wiring issue. And the effects of these causes are it will delay in operational process. Secondly, loss of customers' parcel, which then led to loss of customers' trust. And the third one is worker death and accidents during duty, especially during if the vehicle is caught on fire. And last but not least, the damage and loss of property. The impact that are faced are major, and also the likelihood for this to happen because they are using it every day, it is possible for it to happen. So, how to handle this type of risk? So, the best handling methods that can be done by JNT Express when it comes to fire risk is, of course, risk avoidance. So, risk avoidance is a technique that eliminates or prevents the risk through discontinuation of activities or business that presents such a risk. So, in other words, risk avoidance is the eliminations of hazards, activities, and exposures that can negatively affect an organization. In this case, fire. So furthermore, while the complete elimination of all risks is nearly impossible, a risk avoidance is a strategy that is designed to deflect as many threats as possible. So, what are the practices they can do? The practice that they can do is to ensure any machine that results in heatings gets big space and eliminate any easily combustible items and ensure parcels are put in the ready stroller and not on the floor, as you can see the news circulating around social media. So that are the things on how they can avoid the risk. Next, the best handling method that they can do is through risk control. So what is risk control? Risk control is a technique to improve the risk to achieve a standard and acceptable level. So if it's fire, you put the fire in control so it won't burn the whole place, okay? So it involves methods that reduce the severity of loss or the likelihood of the loss from occurring. So it is a technique that utilizes finding the risk assessments, which involve identifying potential risk factors in a company's operations, such as technicals or non-technical aspects of the business. So what are the methods that JNT can do? So it is can be practiced by installing fire safety legal equipments such as smoke detectors that detect smokes and send signals to the nearby fire station. Apart from that, they also need to have a fire extinguisher both in the buildings and also in the vehicle to help them during any emergency. Another thing that they can do in risk controlling is also to check their car to check the vehicle every single month for inspections. So that is how they can do a control on the risk. Last but not least, how do we control a risk? So the best way to handle a risk is by risk sharing. So what is risk sharing? Risk sharing is when an individual or organization can share the risk with others who have similar nature of the risk. Also, it is usually done by Takaful. So as you know, since Islam does not allow risk to be exchanged or risk to be transferred because it is not considered fair, Takaful is invented as a way to practice risk sharing without transferring it. In this case, what JNT can do is to invest in a good insurance like Takaful My Fire. So it provides protection for losses to property such as buildings, contents, furnitures, parts, and machinery as well as stocks. So those are the things that JNT can do to prevent, control, and also help them when facing a risk. Thank you.
Hi, it's me again, Izzatul. But this time, I'll explain to you about financial value risk. Financial value risk is the fourth risk that can be found in the transportation industry, and this risk is a risk that has potential for individuals, organizations, and government to have a financial loss in an investment or business venture, as well as could cause interested parties to lose money. For your information, there are some financial risks that are common and distinctive, which are credit risk, liquidity risk, and operational risk. If you can see on the screen, there is a table of the causes and effects of financial risk that can be found in the transportation industry. The causes of financial value risk are the increases of interest rate of bank, the decreases of investment rate of return, the increases of default rate and political instability while the impact from it is the use of a large portion of profits to repay loans that have been made, investors withdraw from investing in the company's share price as a whole decline, and the loss of domestic investors. Moreover, financial value risk is not a risk that frequently happens to J&T Express, but it is moderate and the cost is possible to affect them, meaning that the frequency is possible and the impact is measured. Thus, the best thing that J&T Express can do in handling this type of situation is by applying a risk handling method, which is risk avoidance. Risk avoidance is a strategy for reducing risk by refraining from engaging in activities that increase the organization risk of getting damaged, having loss, or even dying. There are a few actions that can be taken by J&T Express in applying risk avoidance, which are: the first one, J&T Express need to compare all the interest rates among potential banks and choose the bank that has lowest interest to apply for loan, so that the company doesn't have to pay a higher interest rate to the bank, which can be due to excessive debt and loss. Second, J&T Express need to make sure that the investors that want to invest in their organization are authentic investors with a good reputation to avoid them from financial value risk happen to their organization. Thirdly, J&T Express need to maintain or increase their investment rate of return to prevent financial risk. Finally, other than taking some actions in handling and avoiding financial risk, J&T Express should register Takaful insurance under Takaful money insurance to protect their profit and funds in case anything happens to it. By obtaining money insurance, the chance of financial loss to occur can be reduced, and since the loss will be covered by the insurance, the organization won't have to worry about it. In addition, Takaful money insurance is appropriate for firms with regular monetary transactions where protection is offered for cash retained on site or lost in transit. Takaful Malaysia will compensate you if any money is lost or damaged due to a burglary risk.
The fifth risk that can be found in transportation industry is operational risk. Operational risk summarizes these uncertainties and hazards a company faces when it attempts to do its day-to-day business activities within a given field or industry. Operational risks are generally within the control of the organization because it might happen to the business due to interruptions, errors, or omissions by employees, product failure, health and safety, failure of IT systems, fraud, loss of key people, litigation, and loss of suppliers. So on the table in front of you in the screen, these are some of the cause and effects of operational risk found in the transportation company, which is J&T Express. So the causes of operational risk are employee errors and misconducts, outdated and inefficient software systems, failure in enforcing the company's policies in other branches, and unreliable equipment and machinery for the sorting of addresses. So, what are the effects of these causes? The effects are the inability to perform according to the customer's demands, loss of customers' data, inconsistent operational performance, and prolonged the processing period. So, what are the effects of this operational disruption can cause to the company? So, the effects of operational disruption can cause loss to the company's financials and disrupt the flow of smooth operations. To help assist the statement, we can actually take an example of J&T Express experiencing outdated and inefficient software systems. So, as we know, the business relies heavily on software systems to to help sort parcels accordingly, and when the system breaks down, it will actually cause a major disruption to its operation. So the staff would need to manually sort thousands of parcels every day, and it will actually prolong the delivery time. So when this happens, it will actually lower the customer's trust and will cause massive complaints to be made toward the business. Customer satisfaction and also service quality plays a role in whether it is successful in completing its operation or not, basically for the business lah. So besides that, as you guys know, customer satisfaction is actually the way of the customer feel. It's either they feel pleasure or disappointment that arises after they compare the performance and the expected product results. So to create a new and updated software for JNT Express to minimize the impact of the causes, it will actually decrease the business revenue, and when it is not solved for a longer time, it will keep on making the sales to become lower than ever. Basically, to make it simple, when we trying to create a new and updated software, right, it will actually cost us a lot of amount of money, but yet if we do not do anything about it, our sale will continue to decrease until the problem is solved. So according to a research article in Indonesia Journal of Business and Entrepreneurship, prolonged and inconsistent services by courier companies are one of the major issues in customers' complaint. So it can be concluded that JNT Express operational risks have a possible frequency and a major impact. So the best risk handling method that can be taken to manage JNT Express operational risk is risk control. So risk control is the set of methods by which firms evaluate potential losses and take action to reduce or eliminate threats. So by enforcing risk control, it actually helps the business to limit their losses and create safety guidelines or standard operating procedures. So in the JNT Express case, the organization can come up with specific guidelines for the employee to follow during operational hours, especially with the case of employee misconduct and the usage of social media during working hours. Why I say this is one of the best ways that the organization can do is because the issue of employee misconduct has become one of the major issues for JNT Express, especially with the leakage of viral video showing the rough handling of customers' parcels in one of its many branches. So by enforcing these specific operational guidelines, it will actually help to standardize the procedure or operational activities in every JNT Express branch nationwide. This will also make sure that every branch will operate accordingly and in a standardized manner. Other than just guidelines on the employees, the business can actually also implement safety and machinery care guidelines. So these guidelines and standard operating procedures on software and machinery will also help to smoothen and prolong the machine life, right? So this can actually lessen the burden of the company or the business in buying new machinery or repairing fees, thus helping the business to focus their revenues to other departments or investment. So these plans could be translated as an employee handbook or working guidelines, right? So next, JNT Express can also make requirements for its employees to join training programs, especially with the up-to-date softwares and machinery that is crucial for the operation. So when the employees or staff are given adequate knowledge and become an expert regarding the machinery or the operational ways, it actually helps to create this group of key person in the organization. So this key person or group of experts will actually be able to repair and create the machinery or software if there is any cases of the items to break down. It actually helps business to continue its services, and the customer satisfaction level will also be high because there are no prolonged time of delivery. So these talents or key person can actually be used to improve the services of the business and build a good customer-business relationship. So now moving on to the Takaful products. So the Takaful products that are suitable in managing the operational risk are electronic equipment takaful and machinery breakdown takaful. So the first one, electronic equipment takaful actually offers a comprehensive cover for electronic and computer-related equipment, including external data media. So any physical loss will be compensated unless the loss is excluded. Items damaged or destroyed must be due to sudden unforeseen circumstances whereby they are no longer be able to function properly. So this product covers all hardware installation, including peripheral equipment and accessories. It also covers the cost in reinstating any lost data media such as hard disks, tapes, and other external data media used for storage of computer-based information or software. And last but not least, it provides indemnity for additional expenditure or increased cost of working following material loss or damage by indemnifying the cost of hiring equipment for backup. So the duration of this cover or the duration of this takaful is actually for 1 year and it needs to be renewed annually. It is valid to be used as of the 1st August of 2020. So another takaful product is suitable for operational risk is machinery breakdown takaful. So machinery breakdown takaful actually covers sudden and unforeseen damage to the machinery whilst at work or rest, or during cleaning, inspection, or overhauling or removal or transfer of another position within the premises. So all plant and machinery is susceptible to breakdown or damage regardless of its quality or the care bestowed on it by its owner. So with the rising cost of materials, labor, transport, repairs, fluctuation in foreign exchange rates, replacement are proving to be increasingly expensive, right? So the sudden and unforeseen damage that might include faulty material, design, construction or erection, vibration, defects in casting and material, failure to connected machinery, or like perspective devices defective lubrication, loosening of parts, abnormal stress, self-heating, centrifugal force, excessive electrical pressure short circuits, arcing or open circuits, failure of insulation, carelessness or like malicious act, lack of skill, impact, collision and storm, and physical explosion.
Last but not least, non-financial value risk, which defines the type of risk that the outcomes cannot be measured in monetary terms. As J&T Service is a logistic courier company, management of the parcels is very crucial in order to make sure that the parcels are always as good as they receive for the delivery. A poor management of the parcel can cause loss of customers' trust towards the company, which can have a major impact on its business well-being. This can be seen when a man from Malacca expressed his utmost disappointment with J&T Courier Service when he received his 900 ringgit gaming monitor only to find out that it was broken and damaged. Not just that, poor selection of employees could damage the company's reputation among customers as the employees were unprofessionally and conduct wrong behavior during their work time. It is proven when many Facebook users shows their regrets and disappointment when J&T employees stole and sabotaged the parcel. The parcel, such as food, was eaten by the employees and there is a hole in the box and poorly covered by tapes, which makes it more obvious. Regarding the delivery, the unmanaged delivery schedule will cause the parcel to arrive late from the actual date. This may seem like a minor error, but when one delivery is not being conducted as scheduled, it could cause a domino effect, as the other deliveries may also be delayed as the management need to prioritize the first delayed delivery. Lastly, unclear explanations about bonus scheme to the employees can cause internal issues as the employees will lose their trust and strike the company. These issues has already happened where J&T employees threw the parcels during the sorting process. The main reason that the employees started to strike is because J&T Express has deducted the commission from the riders from 1 ringgit per parcel to 30 cents per parcel, and employees must work until midnight to unload the lorries and there is no overtime pay. According to the company, J&T policy was to pay a prorated bonus for those who have worked less than a year. However, some employees are not clear about the bonus scheme, which led to the incident. To conclude, non-financial value risk may not involve money, but it is possible to happen and could lead to major issues to the company regarding the trust and reputation. The outcomes of non-financial value risk cannot be measured from monetary terms. However, for JNT Express, the causes of this risk are still possible and can give huge impacts to the company's reputation and customers' trust. The best method that can be implemented to manage this risk is by conducting risk reduction. Risk reduction occurs when a risk becomes less severe through actions taken to prevent or minimize its impact. To reduce the risk of hiring unprofessional employees, JNT Express Human Resource Department must identify the job specification first in terms of knowledge, skills, abilities, and other factors required for the job in order to lead a superior performance. After that, there are several steps that can be followed in the selection process when hiring employees. The company can require the applicants to prepare a resume for the Human Resource Department to see an overview of the applicants. From the resume, the company can identify the education background and the experience of the applicants. Next, the company interviewer can conduct an interview where the interviewer can identify the behavior and the conduct of the applicants, whether they are suitable or not for the job. The company also can conduct a job knowledge test to measure the applicant's level of understanding and knowledge about the job that they are applying for. By practicing these methods, the company can identify which applicants are really suitable for the job so that the flow of the business can run effectively and efficiently. Not to be forgotten, JNT Express could hold intensive training for their new employees so that they are supplied with essential skills, especially on sorting and managing parcels, so that the parcels are sorted properly and in good condition. In addition, during the training, the company can also make a briefing session explaining about their wage and commission on how it will be distributed and the requirements needed to receive a commission. This way, the employees will have a clear understanding and can ask questions during the briefing session. Thus, any unwanted incident can be avoided.
In an organization, the primary source or worries are the risks and uncertainties. This causes businesses to focus on identifying and creating specific risk management strategies to mitigate the impact of the risk. Risk management is the process of identifying, analyzing, and responding to risk factors that might arise during the business operation. An effective risk management strategy is able to influence the choices and activities that a business might take based on the likelihood of risk to happen and the impact that they might have. The existence of insurance and Takaful helps to lessen the burden that a business might face after experiencing a misfortune, as they can help to protect the rights and lessen the financial losses of a business. JNT Express is a company that provides courier services nationwide and overseas. Therefore, it is not a surprise that they might experience different types of risk, specifically fundamental risk, speculative risk, fire risk, financial value risk, operational risk, and non-financial value risk. These risks might cause direct and indirect losses to the business if it is not being handled accordingly, such as having a contingency plan, a specific employee handbook and guidelines, fire drill simulations, and others. Therefore, it is important for JNT Express to reconsider on identifying and assess the possible risks so that it is easier for them to solve the issue. That will be all from us. Thank you and have a nice day.